All right, Ambush, and today we are joined by a guitar player who can make those strings sing, I must say. And today we're not talking just about his ability as a guitar player, but he has combined his blues playing abilities with two other incredible musicians. And together they have combined to create the HOROJO Trio, and they're about to take over this blues world. And I am here with my guest today, J.W. Jones. How's it going today, J.W.?
Wonderful, man. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm having myself a fantastic day, and it's even better now that I get to talk a little bit of music with the man, J.W. himself.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Hey, all right. So, of course, I mentioned there that you recently, over a few years ago, decided to combine your talents with one Jamie Holmes, with one Jeff Rogers. So, of course, I know that blues is a very jam-centric style of music. So, is a jam how you guys ended up coming together, or what exactly is the story behind that?
Yeah, we were. So my band was playing at a corporate event downtown Ottawa called Ringside for Youth, and I shouldn't say HOROJO. It didn't exist yet. Beats and Keys, that is, which is Jamie Holmes on drums and Jeff Rogers playing keys and singing. They were playing the after party at a place called Darcy McGee's, and the GM from Darcy's actually said to me, "Hey, you should come down after your show and sit in with the guys. Like, that would be such a cool combination." And I was like, I've been close friends with Jamie for many years. He used to tour in my band, and I've known Jeff, for a long time through, blues in the schools here in Ottawa and just local stuff. And so, yeah, I brought my little amp down, little Pro Junior, and set it up and sat in, and we started playing, and we went for 2 hours straight. And so it was just magic, man. Like, I was hearing Jeff sing all these Bobby Bland songs and BB King tunes that I've, some of which I've never even played before. And he was hearing me play, this BB King stuff that he had not been hearing because he didn't have a guitar player like that around. And Jamie, of course, holding down the fort and just, playing groovy and funky and all the cool New Orleans grooves and stuff like that. And it was just magic, man. Like, the way we felt together was like, wow, this is cool. So the next day we were like, yeah, so let's do that some more, and that's how it all began.
Oh, wow. So literally just a suggestion of somebody like, hey, why don't you just maybe even just jump in for a little bit, right? And then 2 hours later, you guys are just still ripping, eh?
Yeah, man. Yeah, Jeff O'Reilly, I got to give him a shout out. He's a great guy and been a longtime supporter. And really, I mean, this band exists literally because of his idea. Otherwise, I would have played my corporate gig and gone home to the family and not stayed out till 2 a.m. But this was obviously much better.
Hey, it was meant to be, clearly. And I mean, clearly, because this band, before you guys even released any music, you were out there. You were picking up awards. You guys were killing it at the International Blues Challenge. What was it like to sort of already have that hype? I mean, I know you guys have been labeled as an Ontario supergroup already, kind of, but what is it like to already hit the ground running, have that support?
Yeah, really, really cool, man. I mean, once we started doing a couple of gigs, Jeff Rogers, he wasn't really super in the blues scene, even though he knows all the blues players. He was kind of playing a little more cover music and weddings and corporate stuff. So when I told him about the International Blues Challenge and thinking that we could go down and do it, actually, he had been involved with that in the past. Sorry, I should say that, in Ottawa. So he knew about it. But I said, look, man, we have a really good chance we should go down there. And he goes, do you really think so? I'm like, dude, with the way you sing, like, it doesn't matter who's with you. Like, you are just incredible, man. Like, let's do this, So, yeah, we went down. And I mean, a big part of why I think we won that thing is because we really thought about tailoring the set to be just right. It has to have the right flow to it. It has to have, a lot of original elements, for example. So we wrote a bunch of original songs with a guy named Dick Cooper from here in Ottawa, from the Cooper Brothers. He had a big hit back in the day called The Dream Never Dies with the Cooper Brothers in the 70s. And anyway, so we wrote some songs with him and played original music and really, tried to play blues that was still getting all the blues marks, but also having the originality and the, energy and fire that we knew we needed to bring to the stage. So yeah, it turned out it worked pretty well.
Oh, hey, well, that's fantastic. And I love how you say there the importance of building a set list. And some artists don't maybe realize that when they write some of their music is, okay, well, we're just going to have blistering fast pace the entire time. And it's like, that's great. But 45 minutes into your set, man, like this is going to like, can we just like break it down just a little bit, have some change of pace? Like it's very important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the flow is everything. And I mean, I like to think about a set list the same way I think about soloing on the guitar, same way I think about conversation. I mean, you have to have commas, you have to have pauses, you have to, sometimes you're really excited and other times you're just taking it easy and speaking quietly, like all of those things totally go into the thought process of making a great set list and a great show.
Absolutely. And it's like you say with the guitar solo too, is the guitar solo has its moment, the guitar has its moment to shine, but then the vocals also need their time and otherwise too.
Yeah, absolutely. If you do more listening than playing, you'll be on the right track.
Hey, got to use your ears to be a musician, right?
Yes, sir.
Hey, all right. And I know that you have a fairly refined set of ears yourself. I know that you've produced quite a bit of your own solo work. So when it came to the HOROJO trio and getting this new music recorded, were you the producer behind this or were you guys working with somebody else?
Well, we all work together. I mean, I think it's great that we all equally produced this record. I mean, 90% of it. For two of the songs, we brought in Steve Strongman, who has been a longtime friend and a really incredible guy. And we wrote two of the songs with him, and he came into the studio and co-produced those with us. So otherwise, I mean, what's really cool is that Jamie, Jeff, and myself, this was during COVID lockdowns. We wrote this record when we couldn't even see each other. So we were on Zoom calls, coming up with ideas, blah, 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 and trying to use Dick Cooper's lyrics and figure out musically how we could, what comes first, the lyrics or the music. And we did both. And so I think we all really, really did put in the same amount of effort and influence into the production of the record. And we just kept making demos. We made demo after demo and kept refining it and like deleting tracks and starting over. And basically we went into the studio and just played everything that we had, demoed out and blocked out with the arrangements, and then sent that, the first, what was 10 songs at the time or 11 songs, sent that to Stony Plain Records. And actually we were just about to sign a different deal with someone else in the US. And I sent it to them, and didn't hear back. And then I wrote an email. I said, hey, we're signing this other deal tomorrow. So if you're interested at all, can you please just let us know, And then I got an email from Jeff Kulovic, and he said, yeah, man, I want this. Let's do it. Make a deal. I was like, whoa, okay. So like the 11th hour, we signed a deal. And then that's when we started talking about bringing Strongman into it and going from there.
That's incredible. Just this whole time where it takes time to get it going. You guys hit the ground running, it gets slowed down. And then literally, like you say, the 11th hour where it's like, okay, well, yeah, I definitely don't want you to go and sign with somebody else. So here's paperwork.
Yeah. Pretty much.
I love it. I love it. And of course, you mentioned that these songs were recorded at a time where we couldn't really connect, couldn't really be in the same room together. And as we mentioned earlier too, blues is very jam orientated. So was this the first time that you've ever really had to do that, send files back and forth?
Absolutely. Yeah. The whole process was totally different. But like I said, I mean, it was kind of cool to build it and be able to look at it in a different way, because when you're in the room with people, sure, you get the vibe of like playing with each other and you feel that, but you might feel great and then realize your song is 6 minutes long. You know what I mean? Well, the way we were doing it, it's like, oh, wait a minute, we just hit the 4-minute mark. We better trim some of the fat here and get it, dialed in a little bit more. So, there were pros to it as well.
There's got to be at least a few singles on the record, right?
That's right.
And of course, you guys released that first single, well, actually two singles technically, on February 8th there, As Hard As I Can, released in the music video format, and Stay Crazy, released into the audio streaming world. So sort of hitting the ground running in two different ways, giving the fans who have been waiting quite a while two different styles to go ahead and jam out to the music. So what was it like to finally get these tracks out into the world after waiting for quite a while?
Yeah, it was wonderful. I mean, the other part we should talk about is that there was actually a Kickstarter for this album. So we had a Kickstarter like over a year ago now. I think it was just over a year ago at this time, or maybe a little less. Anyway. And so we had all these supporters. We hit our goal. It was amazing. We're like, okay, we're going to give you this album in September. And then Stony Plain wasn't able to release it until April 1st. So that's quite a length of time in between September and April 1st. And so we went back to all the Kickstarter supporters and said, hey, good news, bad news. The great news is we got a record deal. The less great news is you have to wait a lot longer. And, I was going to say I'm surprised that everyone was cool with it, but I'm not surprised at all, because they were, if they're doing it for the right reasons and not just to have music in their hands, like who does that? They're doing it for the right reasons, then they want the best for the band. And I think everyone's excited. So we did a couple little extra things, gave them some unreleased tracks and stuff like that to, tide them over, or whatever you want to call it. And everyone was just super cool about it. So once we got these out, finally, as you say, with the music video on the rooftop, downtown Ottawa, and the Stay Crazy radio edit on Spotify and the streaming platforms, it's been cool, man. People are like, responding and saying, oh man, I love that tune, whatever. And so we're kind of releasing it, like, dripping them out there, so to speak.
Hey, well, shout out to all of the fans who were super cool with waiting another half a year just to make sure it's,
Yeah.
as long as it sounds good and everything's all right, the investment's worth it, right?
Absolutely.
Hey, gotta love it. And you mentioned there that you guys also released a music video for Hard As I Can, and that was something I wanted to ask is, so that is in Ottawa on that rooftop there. When exactly did you guys film it? Because it's bright, beautiful skies. Everything's lush and green. I mean, you guys got a pretty lucky with the choice of day there.
We sure did, man. That was September. And we shot that right before I went out on tour with my band for like 5 weeks. And we knew we had to get it when the temperature was right, when the weather was good, But what's funny is we picked that date. We had Tim O'Reilly come down from Toronto to shoot it. And you just hope for the best. And we just lucked out. I mean, if you look at some of the shots, it's cool because you see some darker clouds, and then you look and it's a little bit brighter. It's like, over the course of a couple hours. But yeah, we sure lucked out that day. And we actually shot that during the day on the Live Apartments rooftop. And then at night, we went to a place called the Record Center and shot another video that's called Set the Record Straight, which is, as the album is called Set the Record, the song is called Set the Record Straight. And that'll be coming out soon too. And it looks unbelievable. It's just like, it's incredible. I can't wait for people to see that one too.
Oh, so not just the new album coming out right away. I mean, by the time this interview is actually out, then the record will be out for the fans.
Oh, good.
But
cool.
But we've got some more singles coming our way, some more music videos. So you guys are still hard at work. You still got some things in the tank.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. I mean, it's been really fun. And with Stony Plain saying, look, we want 2 music videos, shoot them however you want, giving us total artistic license, which is really cool. And I'm really proud of them because, Tim shot them. He's an incredible videographer. And I've been doing the video editing for them. So that's been fun. And it's kind of like a passion on the side for me, is doing video editing. So when these things get done and they look incredible, I just sit back and go, yes, this feels so amazing. It's like, your own little baby.
Absolutely. Have you done much video prior to this?
Yeah, I've been tinkering around for the better part of a decade or so. Initially with just iMovie and stuff like that, and then graduating to like Premiere Pro and working on it. But last summer I did a project for the Shepherds of Good Hope here in Ottawa for Here Comes the Sun. So if you've heard of Playing for Change, where they have different shots of musicians all over the world, this was musicians all over the city of Ottawa. And we did the song Here Comes the Sun. So check that out on YouTube. If you type in JW Jones, Here Comes the Sun, or Shepherds of Good Hope, Here Comes the Sun, you'll see it. And it's that's a project that I produced, and yeah, I love it. It's fantastic.
Hey, I mean, support a good cause and listen to a good track because that's a classic song. So,
Yeah,
good choice.
yeah, thank you.
Hey, all right. And of course, we mentioned that the record isn't out as of when we're recording it, but as the time that this interview is out, I believe it should be the same day that the record drops.
Oh,
So,
nice.
of course, with once again, it's been building up to this anticipation. You guys ended up having to take an extra 6 months, 7 months wait before releasing the album. So now that it's on that precipice, now that we're almost there, what is the feeling like? What is the excitement like for Set the Record to finally be out into the world?
Oh man, I am totally excited. It's a funny thing because when you spend as much time writing, rehearsing, recording, mixing, mastering as we have, it's like you get through that process. You've heard these songs like a couple hundred times. You know what I mean? At that point, you're like, okay, I don't need to hear that ever again. But then there's that space of time. And then when you're about to release it, it all becomes new again. It's like, oh, wow, we actually did a great job. This is wicked, man. So I'm super, super excited for everyone to hear it. The album has a really eclectic bunch of mixture of songs and grooves and vibes and energy. And it's really special. I think we did a great job. And I forgot to mention, not forgot, I need to mention Jill and Darren at Jukasa Studios. They are the team that recorded the whole thing. They're the engineers behind it. And like Jukasa Studios, man, it's in on an Indian reserve, actually, in Southern Ontario, just outside of Hamilton. And man, it's like state of the art. It was owned by a billionaire. And anyway, so they've got all the wicked gear and, more importantly, the talent. Jill and Darren are just incredible and did a wicked job.
Hey, well, if anyone's looking for a space and they're in that Ontario region, hit them up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, awesome. And of course, as you mentioned, you're still hitting the road, doing your own thing with your own band. And live is something that is pretty important for all aspects of getting record hype out there, for pushing things. So does the HOROJO Trio themselves plan on getting out there, hitting the road, maybe getting a tour in?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we released the album April 1st. And that night we play here in Ottawa at the Rainbow Bistro. The second, we're in Toronto at the Cameron House. So if you're seeing this on April 1st, get your tickets quickly if you can, if there are any left. And then we play in London the day after that. And we do an industry party at True North Gallery in Waterdown. And then, yeah, it's about a week after that, 2 weeks after that, we hit the road and we do a bunch of BC and Alberta dates. So they're all on the website now at horojotrio.com. That's HOROJO trio.com. And, find them there on the socials. You can find the tour poster there and come see us.
Hey, all right. I'm definitely going to have to look those dates up ASAP so I can see exactly where in BC I myself might be able to catch you.
Yeah. Where are you located?
Hey, Kamloops.
Kamloops. Nice. Okay. So what's closer for you? Penticton? How far is Penticton for you?
Penticton is probably about 2.5 hours, I think. 3
that
hours,
might
maybe?
Be as close as we get. Yeah.
Hey,
so
that's
we
reasonable.
do Calgary. That's Edmonton, or that's Alberta, Calgary and Edmonton. And then in BC, we do White Rock, Penticton, Nelson, Balfour Beach, Chilliwack, and something else, I think.
Hey, there's a few options there if you're interested.
Man, yeah.
Hey, fans of the band, go out there, check these dates. Maybe check them live. Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I have had a blast chatting about this new album so far. I have one last question for you, JW. You ready for it?
I am ready.
All right. So, of course, we've talked about the creation of the HOROJO Trio, the creation of this new record, Set the Record. What I would like to know now is through this process of exactly that, building this band, building this record through the past couple of years, how exactly has this process helped you to grow as a person, or what has it taught you about yourself?
Oh, that's a good one. I'm always working on the don't sweat the small stuff thing, as many of us are. But what I will say is that coming from doing my own solo project where I have, full creative control, so to speak, where if I don't really like the way something's going with the bass and the drums, then like we adjust it to my preference and we move on. With HOROJO, these are three equal parts. We have three equal says in the in the artistic process, and so you fight for what you really think is important, and you take the foot off the gas for the things that are not worth fighting for. So it's a pick your battles kind of thing, and we all did it. I mean, there are parts of the entire album where one of us would have changed something, but if that was for the greater good, I don't know, man. I mean, I kind of think what makes it beautiful is that everyone gets their moment to shine. Everyone gets their moment to, it's not, we never looked at it like, I want another guitar solo, or Jeff wants more vocals, or Jamie wants 10 more drum breaks. It was like, what's best for the song? And we kept coming back to that, because if you listen to this record, this isn't a typical 12-bar blues record where you just play through 12 bars, you sing, and then, oh, it's a solo, blah, blah, blah. We didn't do that. We tried to write songs with choruses, and we were very, very intentional with everything. So that's what I've learned about myself, is you definitely have to just pick those battles and just let some stuff go.
Hey, and it came out with some very catchy choruses, I must say, and I cannot wait to hear the rest of this record. Thank you so much, J.W. Jones, for joining us here today on the DTP.
Thank you so much for having me.